As much as we think we know who our favorite stars really are, we often don't know anything about them besides what they portray in front of cameras and tabloids. But many decide to share parts of their life the public has never known before through memoirs. Hello everyone, I'm Melanie with InformOverload, and today we are going to be counting down 10 dark secrets from celebrity memoirs that broke the internet. But before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. At number 10, we have Holly Madison. Holly was known for being Hugh Hefner's #1 girlfriend during the early 2000s, where her daily life was documented on the reality show Girls Next Door. Well, in 2015, she shared her experience living in the Playboy mansion and sharing the bedroom with Hefner in her book titled Down the Rabbit Hole: Curious Adventures and Cautionary Tales of a Former Playboy Bunny. She described it almost like a cult because they were gaslit into expecting to think of Hefner as a nice man and not at all what they say in the media. They had a 9 o'clock curfew and was encouraged to not have any friends over, before adding you weren't really allowed to leave unless it was like a family holiday, which is just a few reasons why it's easy to become isolated from the outside world. She was also pressured to quit her waitressing job after he expressed his jealousy towards it and insisted on giving her $1,000 a week instead. She described it as being trapped as she feared limited professional possibilities and her fear to admit how she was actually at a low point in her life as Hefner had emotional control over her. Intimacy was also a popular topic for the former couple for obvious reasons surrounding Playboy's image. But before moving into the mansion, she was told that no intimacy would be involved with Hugh Hefner. But that was proven false as he offered her substances that he called thigh openers, which she declined, but did end up drinking when she first had her physical encounter with Hefner and his multiple other girlfriends. And for number 9, we have LaToya Jackson. I'm assuming you can already recognize the name, as LaToya was the 5th out of the 10 siblings born to the Jackson family. With such a successful family, with the media always being curious on what goes on behind the scenes, it was only before time when shocking secrets would be released. In her book titled Growing Up in the Jackson Family, she accused her father for harming all of her siblings before adding her mother knew about it and allowed it to happen. Not only did she accuse her father Joe for the physical harm, but she also alleged her sister Rebby and herself have experienced SA that was committed by their own father. But she later on retracted this and said her husband at the time forced her to make these claims to increase book sales. Beyond just these claims, she has also said her other brother Jackie had an affair with Paula Abdul, and when his wife found out, she tied her onto a chair to interrogate her. And for number 8, we have Prince Harry. He addressed a bunch of different things in his memoir titled Spare. He of course talked about the tension between him and his wife Meghan Markle and his brother Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton, which we will get into in a bit. But he also discussed the controversial and harmful past costume he played as, and also his true feelings about his stepmom, and even talking about how he lost his V-card with an older woman. But also drew attention to the early aspects of his life when his mother Princess Diana passed away due to a car accident. Harry described how his father, who is now King Charles III, informed him of his mother but did not give him a hug. He also went to take a taxi to the scene where his mother passed years later to try and end the pain. Him and William always had a brotherly rivalry, which worsened when he married Meghan in 2018, and even recounted an argument that occurred a year later in 2019 where William called Meghan difficult and rude, which apparently many upper-class Englishmen refer to Americans with those words, before grabbing him by the collar and knocked him down, where Harry suffered from cuts and bruises. And after the funeral of Prince Philip in 2019, their father encouraged the two brothers to make up. None of those who represent the royal family has commented on any of these allegations. And for number 7, we have Jamie Lynn Spears. I'm sure we all know by now, Britney released her tell-all memoir just recently, but did you know her younger sister and former star of the show Zoe 101 also released a memoir? Her book titled Things I Should Have Said is, well, of course, about the things she thought and believed she should have said. As we know now, Britney and Jamie are not on good terms, and in her memoir she talks about the conservatorship their father had over Britney and described their family as tight-knit before what was torn apart by money. And in her words, distorted truths and undisclosed personal issues. She admitted fame changed everything as she felt insignificant compared to her older sister, who was at the height of her fame. And of course, she talked about her teenage pregnancy as Zoe 101 was coming to an end and she broke up with her her then boyfriend Casper, although after there were rumors that he was cheating on her. But the two did reconcile for a bit and during that time conceived their daughter Maddie. And of course, Alexa Nicholas, who was one of Jamie Lynn's co-stars, had been very vocal about how she felt bullied on set. But according to Jamie, it was just because Alexa grew jealous of her and began to spread rumors about her. What do you think about Alexa and Jamie's tension? For number 6, we have Jennette McCurdy. Similarly to Jamie, Jennette was best known for her role on a Nickelodeon show as she played Sam in iCarly and in Sam and Cat, which she co-starred with Ariana Grande. The title of her memoir alone is enough to capture readers' attention as it's called I'm Glad My Mom Died. And of course, she detailed how her mom basically forced her into the acting industry and she developed anorexia as a child, which didn't help her character Sam on iCarly, who was always indulging in foods, with episodes focusing on Sam's love of fat cakes and eating buckets of fried chicken. And as of her mom, she recalls when she was 8, her mom wouldn't take her to the bathroom because she claimed it was unprofessional, but one day she couldn't hold it in anymore and she tearfully apologized to her mother, who insisted on also wiping her behind because she didn't trust Jennette to do so. She also detailed how her mother would regularly perform examinations to her breast and private areas for cancerous lumps, and even at the age of 12, her mother was still bathing her. She also introduces someone in her memoir as the creator, who many believe is Dan Schneider, who is known for creating shows like Zoe 101, Victorious, Drake and Josh, iCarly, and so many more, as she suffered years of harm from the creator, and Nickelodeon even offered her $300,000 to never speak about her experience while working under the company, which she turned down. There is just so much more detailing issues surrounding working with Ariana Grande and her close friendship with Miranda Cosgrove. And for number 5, we have Carrie Fisher. You may know her best for her iconic role as Princess Leia in the Star Wars franchise. She also voiced Angela on Family Guy before unfortunately passing away in 2016. In her memoir titled The Princess Diarist, Carrie revealed she had an affair with Harrison Ford, who plays Han Solo, while the two were filming the first Star Wars movie in the 70s. At the time, she was 19 and he was 33, married and had 2 kids. She recalled the first time the two spent some intimate time together was after George Lucas's 32nd birthday in his studio car. This went on for 3 months before she ended things, and they never acknowledged anything that had happened. Before she passed, she was surprised how many people were shocked because it happened 40 years ago, and she even warned Ford about what she was going to be discussing before publishing, even sending him a manuscript, and his response was lawyer. For number 4, we have Leah Remini. In her memoir called Troublemaker, she revealed many things about the Church of Scientology, as she was a long-time member since she joined when she was only 9 years old alongside her parents in 1979 and left in 2013. She explained how minors are considered spiritual beings and not children who are in need of protection and guidance. She explained how you are the only one responsible for the condition of your life regardless of your age, as many of the children were constantly left on their own as they believed they can make up their own minds. This resulted in some children being forced out of their own homes and either had to sleep at strangers' places or just squatting. Leah also said she witnessed several babies, including her sister Shannon, being neglected by their nursery, if you can even call it that. She described the nursery as a motel room filled with cribs of crying, neglected babies, with the room smelling like dirty diapers. There was only one source of ventilation, which was a fan, and the person that was in charge was a random teenager who was hardly qualified to take care of children. And for number 3, we have Constance Wu. You may know her for starring in the movie Crazy Rich Asians or Fresh Off the Boat. In her memoir titled Making a Scene, she detailed a time a producer from Fresh Off the Boat actually SA'd her, and after she spoke about this, she received a DM from a former colleague that shamed her for opening up and sharing her story. And because of this, she attempted to take her own life, but luckily a friend was there and took her to a psychiatric emergency room. And for number 2, we have Grace Jones. This songwriter, actress, and model has been rumored to be using a bunch of a certain substance, which I will just call cola. According to Grace in her memoir, I'll Never Write My Memoirs, she revealed how she used way less cola than she was rumored to be using, but when she did want to experience the sugar rush, she would have to take cola from her rear end. But she would actually prefer to take it that way, as she said it felt fantastic. But I'm sorry, I can't say that without thinking of her memoir memoir now. She also reveals she has an inside joke with Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth. Kind of iconic if you ask me. And she won't go on stage unless she's been fully paid before the show starts. For our number 1 spot, we have Drew Barrymore. In her memoir, Little Girl Lost, she discussed various issues she's faced from a young age. She landed her first job at 11 months old when she appeared in a puppy chow commercial. And 5 years later, she got her first movie role in a horror movie called Altered. And her entire family has deep ties into Hollywood, as even her great-grandparents were working as actors. Her father was harmful towards her family and he left when she was just 6 months old. And by 13, she already went through rehab. She explained how she would pour liquor over her ice cream at 7 years old and had her first experience being intoxicated from drinking at 9 years old at a birthday party for Rob Lowe. Her and her mother would party between 1 and 5 days a week, and at 10 years old, her friend's mom was using pot in the car while driving, where Drew wanted to try some but was worried her mother's friend would say no. But instead, she offered Drew the substance. Well, we have made it to the end of today's video. Which memoir would you read? I would love to hear all your opinions down below, and be sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.